Hello, everyone, and welcome to your Introduction to Public Administration subject. This is still your professor, Mr. Trip Anthony A. Ramos, and for this session, we will be talking about the Chinese public administration. All right, so as we start, we all know that whenever we're talking about in China's public administration, this is actually one of those oldest and of course yung no, most enduring administrative traditions in the world. Pero if you will notice, whenever we're talking about public administration, no, lagi nila sinasabi that ang pinaka mga sikat no na mga theories ay coming from the Western, no, is starting from Max Weber, no, we have Woodrow Wilson. We also have other persons no na merong kinalaman sa modern bureaucratic systems. But along before Weber, no, just to give you an insight, no, nung sinulat niya yung about bureaucracy in Europe, yung China, no, had already developed yung isang sophisticated na administrative system that is grounded not in no in legal rationality alone kagaya nung kay Max Weber, but also in ethical philosophy, no. So pag pinag-uusapan natin yung Chinese public administration, most likely no pinag-usapan natin dito ay yung isang na ethical philosophy known as of course no yung Confucianism. So of course no as we deal about the Chinese public administration, let me begin the discussion by offering of course no yung powerful comparison that is being offered by a public administration scholar no si Frederickson noong 2002, which he mentioned no that if Weber is to the structure and behavior of bureaucracy, Confucius is to the ethics of bureaucracy. No? So this statement definitely captures no yung essence ng public administration. Kasi we all know that while Weber already helped us understand how bureaucracies are structured, of course Confucius will help us understand naman how administrators ought to behave. No? At yan yung hahawakan of course ng ating pong mga Chinese public administrators. So in China, public administration is treated not only as a technical or legal enterprise, but above all, no, kagaya nga ng binabanggit natin, dahil nga ito ay nakabase kay Confucius or sa Confucianism, most likely ito ay isang moral undertaking. Okay. Another thing, no, pag pinag-usapan natin yung characteristic ng Chinese public administration is yung strong emphasis, of course, no, on ethics over formal rules. Kaya nga, di ba, binabanggit natin kanina that whenever we're talking about Chinese public administration, no, lagi natin tinitignan dyan yung morality and other things na meron kinalaman, of course, sa values ng mga tao. Also, no, in Confucian thought, sinasabi rin that the effectiveness of governance does not primarily depend on detailed laws, no? So, or even yung mga rigid procedures na meron. Instead, no, it depends on the moral cultivation ng ating pong mga officials, no? Kailangan yung mga officials na meron tayo, most likely, no, they have the capacity or the moral compass na gawin at magpakita ng mga bagay-bagay because Confucius no believed that good governance will flow naturally from the virtue of those who govern. So as a result, syempre, no, yung Chinese governance traditionally emphasizes yung three core ideas. So una, kung makikita nyo nga dyan, no, yung tinatawag natin na virtue. Because our officials, no, whenever we're talking about Chinese public administration, they are expected to embody nga yung moral excellence. No, ito yung qualities such as honesty, no, benevolence, even yung self-discipline and righteousness. So, siyempre, no, kung ang isang opisyales ay naglalak nitong virtue na ito, no matter how technically skilled, they are that person may be considered as dangerous to the state. Okay, so ulitin natin, yung ating officials, they are expected to embody nga yung moral excellence. Second, yung tinatawag natin ang moral example because Confucianism teaches that people follow leaders not because they fear punishment, but because they respect nga yung moral authority. So, when officials act ethically, of course, we can expect that citizens no are inspired to behave ethically as well. Kasi nga, ulitin natin, you cannot give what you don't have or you cannot expect no yung mga bagay na hindi mo naman ginagawa rin. And of course, no, governance becomes a form of moral leadership. No, pag pinag-usapan natin yung Chinese public administration. And of course, yung personal responsibility nga po ng ating pong mga officials because in the Chinese public in the Chinese administrative tradition, yung ating pong responsibility is highly individualized, no? If something goes wrong, no, the question is not only which rule failed, but it also asks, no, which official failed morally. Kasi nga, di ba, hindi hihiwalay ang morality when it comes to China's public administration. So, this kind of situation contrasts sharply with the modern rule-based systems, no, na kung saan ang responsibility is often diffused, no, across institutions and procedures. Okay, so yan yung pinapoint out whenever we're talking about ethics over rules under the Chinese public administration. Also, of course, no, let's go now dun sa emphasis ng ating ng ating pong Chinese public administration na ng morality, and also makikita din natin no na kahit saang lugar ang ating ini-envision actually ay yung merit-based bureaucracy. So itong emphasis ng Chinese public administration pagdating po sa ethics doesn't mean that Chinese administration ay naglalak po dun sa organization or professionalism. Okay? In fact, China developed what many scholars consider as the first true merit-based bureaucracy. As a matter of fact nga, no, si political scientist Francis Fukuyama noong 2011 as cited by Drexler noong 2013 makes a striking claim. No? He argued that, ayan sinasabi that the China created the first modern Weberian state. No? And this may actually sound surprising since si Max Weber is associated with Western bureaucracy. But when we look closely, no, kung mapapansin natin, many Weberian features appeared in China centuries earlier. No? So let's take a look dun sa key features ng system na binabanggit ko nga no, when it comes to Chinese public administration. Una, ay yung tinatawag natin na centralized bureaucracy. So yung Chinese Empire, they actually govern yung vast territories through a centralized administrative apparatus that reported ultimately no dun sa emperor na meron po sila. Okay? So kitang-kita that there is indeed a centralized bureaucracy. Second, yung uniform administration, no, because officials across the empire followed shared administrative norms and even values. So with this, no, yung shared administrative norms and values, they ensured consistency, no, in terms of governance. And lastly, and of course, no, this is the most important, yung binabanggit natin na impersonal and merit-based recruitment. Kasi nga, rather than relying no doon sa aristocratic birth or personal connections, no yung China, they institutionalized yung recruitment through the imperial civil service examinations, no, and these examinations tested candidates on Confucian texts, no. Also pagdating sa moral reasoning, sila rin po ay gine-gauge, and even yung administrative competence. So with that, yung success ay nagdedepende daw po no sa intellectual ability, and of course yung moral yung moral understanding, not only with the family background na meron po tayo pagdating po sa Chinese public administration. And also, it is crucial to emphasize at this point no, that the imperial examination system existed more than 8,000 years no, before yung Western countries adopted yung merit-based civil service systems. Kaya nga sinasabi natin, nakaka-surprise siya no, kasi all along ang akala natin na pinag-uusapan natin halimbawa ang merit-based no, civil service system, lagi nating binabanggit dito ay nasa may West. Well, as a matter of fact, no, makikita natin that while Confucianism emphasized ethics, it also supported a highly rational and even professional administrative structure. All right, so let's continue our discussion in terms of course, no, Chinese public administration. So this Chinese PA is also, known that it is a governance by the people and not rules. So this may actually bring us to one of the most distinctive feature and perhaps no, yung most challenging that ideas in Chinese public administration will definitely talk about people governance instead of rules. So it was once stated by the Qianlong emperor, no, that there is no ruling by the rules, but there is only governing by the people. And this statement definitely, it captures yung Confucian administrative world view, no, na perfectly. So definitely, pag pinag-usapan natin ito, yung perspective ay that yung ating pong rules and laws, no, are important, but they are only secondary tools. No, when it comes to governance, because according no sa ating Chinese PA, what truly matters ay yung quality of the people who apply them. No? At yung Chinese governance natin, therefore, places a strong emphasis doon sa ano no mga sumusunod. Number one, no, alam naman natin na nakasulat diyan yung tinatawag na human judgment. So instead of mechanical rule following, dapat mahalaga no na pakatawanan natin ano nga po ba yung ano no, ano nga po ba yung iniisip ng mga tao at paano nga po ba sila nagdedesisyon. So that's number one. Number two, no, yung tinatawag natin na ethical administrators, no, rather than looking into the legally constrained functionaries, lagit-lagi titignan natin kumusta itong mga administrator na ito. Are they ethical in the very first place? Second, or third, yung tinatawag po natin na loyalty and competence, no? Na kung saan, instead of nagko-comply po sila doon sa may procedures alone, syempre mahalagang pag-usapan natin yung values ng loyalty and competence so that we'll be able to ensure that those persons no na nagtatrabaho sa government no ng China most definitely they actually possess nga yung no yung morality na ina-expect coming from them. So with this, no, yung isang officialis no expected to interpret na yung isang situations wisely. Of course, no, yung mga tao na yung mga tao na binagbigyan ng pagkakataon para maglingkod, they must take into account no yung context, yung relationship and even yung moral consequences ng kanila pong ginagawa. Okay? And the strict adherence to the rules without moral judgment is often seen as a failure of leadership and not a virtue. Okay? So with this is a very different thing no pagdating sa administration because alam naman natin no yung Western legal rational model na meron po tayo ay commonly yung mga opisyales ay sila po ay binibigyan ng no ng praise or ng paghanga simply because they are following the rules. Okay? So malayong malayo in terms of Chinese public administration kasi nga ulitin natin wala tayong pakialam no kung nag-adhere ka sa rules pero tinitingnan natin dito yung moral judgment. Okay? Kasi kailangan there is a thing na tinatawag na moral judgment in order for you na sabihin talaga na successful ka bilang administrator in China. Okay? So with this, to summarize what we have discussed so far no pagdating dito sa non-western point of view lalo-lalo sa Chinese public administration, let me briefly walk you through no yung mga core features ng Chinese public administration with which you can also reflect upon bilang mga future public administrators na no nag-aaral as of the moment. So whenever we're talking about the philosophical base, alam naman natin that Confucian ethics form part no yung moral foundation nga po ng governance. In terms of administrative focus, syempre yung moral character is more important no than the institutional design alone. Okay? When it comes to recruitment, nabanggit din natin kanina that there is a merit-based system no that is rooted doon sa civil service examinations. In terms of accountability, yung syempre no primarily yung personal and yung ethical concept no it is actually mas binibigyan siya ng pahalaga instead of looking into the purely legalities. Okay? Of course, in terms of view of law, nabanggit nga kanina, no? Nabanggit natin kanina that law is important but it is only secondary to moral judgment. And of course, yung key strength ng ating Chinese public administration will actually be yung long-term stability at saka yung coherence nga ng ating pong administrative system, no? And these features, syempre, no, they actually help no explain why yung Chinese public administration endured for centuries, no? And they already survived yung mga dynastic changes. Alam naman natin yun, no? If you will go back to your history, ang daming mga dynastiyang namuno sa China, pero naka-withstand itong Chinese public administration and even social transformations, hindi ba? So with that, ayan syempre masasabi natin that this kind of public administration have stability and of course yung coherence nga no na meron po tayo. And before we end, no, syempre, no, let me leave you with one critical reflection, no, pag pinag-uusapan natin yung Chinese public administration. Kasi nga, the Confucian model na meron po tayo, no, it actually reminds us, no, that public administration is value neutral, it is not value neutral because every administrative system it is being built no upon the assumptions that human nature, authority, and morality, sila daw po ay magkakasama at hindi sila pwedeng paghiwa-hiwalayin. While modern public administration often emphasizes yung efficiency, yung rules, and even accountability mechanisms, yung Chinese tradition will definitely ask us a deeper question. What kind of people, no, syempre, should administrators be? And that will also be my question to every one of you who is currently, ano, no, who are currently listening and of course watching me. So as future public servants, policy ano, na analysts and even scholars, this is a question, no, that is worth taking thinking about, no? So not only in China, but also in any systems of governance na maaari po natin mapag-aralan kagaya po ng Pilipinas. And that's it for our discussion about Chinese public administration. Let me just grab the opportunity to thank everyone, no, who attended our session, and I hope to see you all on our succeeding sessions and our succeeding videos. With this, again, I thank you.